Hey guys, this is Poohead189, and today we are going to be talking about all that we know so far of the new expansion for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord that has just been announced. Now, I'm a longtime gamer, and I've played both Mount & Blade Warband and Mount & Blade Bannerlord for hundreds of hours, and I am also a historian that focuses mostly on the pre-modern era, which is essentially antiquity and the medieval era, so I felt like I could at least provide some useful commentary on what we know so far for the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Steam page and I'm going to read out everything they have, and then I'm also going to comment on it, see how it sort of translates to the game, and see how it connects to either the old game or the current game that we have. Anyway, let's begin. Okay, so as you know, the main continent is called Calradia, and what this is essentially trying to do is it is going to add a northern sort of island nation above Calradia, which will have a faction called the Nords. So it begins with Greetings Warriors of Calradia. We're thrilled to announce a major expansion to Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. War Sales will be arriving on PC and consoles, which is PS5, Xbox Series X and S, on the 17th of June of this year, 2025. Now, I've seen the announcement trailer. I will not play it here. Sail the high seas, lead mighty fleets, and forge your legacy in War Sales, the epic single-player expansion for Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, bringing naval warfare to Bannerlord for the first time. War Sales lets players command powerful ships, engage in thrilling sea battles, and master maritime conquest. And this is true, as you see in the trailer. It shows multiple factions fighting on the sea with various different types of tactics being used, especially ramming tactics, which is pretty accurate for the time. Embark on daring naval adventures with new mechanics, territories, and challenges. Customize your fleet, conquer settlements, and carve your legend on the high seas. I wonder what that means by customizing the fleet. Okay, meet the Nords, a new Viking-inspired faction. Now, before I delve into that, I do know this is very strange that they are adding the Nords, because the Nords are in Game 1. And as you should likely know if you've played either game, Game 1 is set a few hundred years after Bannerlord. So essentially Bannerlord is really a prequel in terms of the story or the history of this world. And so Bannerlord is mostly sort of like the fall of the Roman Empire to the migration era, whereas Warband and just the first Mount & Blade is sort of high medieval times. But it is very strange because the Nords are in the first game, a few hundred years in the future, and they are supposed to be an offshoot of Stygia, or Stygia, I think it's Stygia, it's been a second. And Stygia is essentially the faction that you can already play, which is sort of an allegory for the Rus, which are the Swedish Vikings that sort of interbred with the Eastern Europeans back in the, I believe, 7th or 8th centuries. So it's very strange that you have Stygia who become the Nords, but now we have the Nords in the same time period. It's very strange. Chart your course to the Northern Kingdom, home of the fearless Nords. Legendary seafarers and masters of close-quarters combat. Yep, just like the first game. Explore a land of jagged peaks, vast taigas, and freezing fjords, where scattered settlements rise like ships from the sea. A bold adventurer may trade their goods, recruit their warriors, join their ranks, or challenge their rule. Will you join the Nords or seize its riches? Even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, I am very excited for the Nords because that was one of my favorites to play in the first game. Master naval warfare. War Sales introduces a unique and immersive naval warfare system that has been inspired by accounts of actual medieval sea battles. That's really cool. I hope it takes like accounts from the sagas as well. Like I believe there was a very large sea battle in Northern Ireland in like the 8th century, where it was talking about how the Vikings were sort of fighting each other, and there was accounts of them throwing javelins and catching them and then throwing them back at their enemies. I hope they do that, but it's probably also a lot to do with sort of maybe the 100 Years' War or beforehand with the sort of Norman invasion of England. I don't know, but it is really cool that they are actually they're actually inspired by accounts from actual medieval sea battles. Featuring realistic wind and water physics, cool. Ship-to-ship combat lets you board enemies from multiple points, cool. Ram them, awesome. And attack from afar. Okay, cool. Yeah, obviously with the ranged attacks. I wonder if they will allow siege weapons on the boats. Captains can seize opportunities by boarding already engaged ships. Cool. Prepare for an incoming attack by creating a floating fortress or take a risk to tie down several enemies at once, giving their allies an edge elsewhere. They may ram an enemy ship to sink it, or at least throw men off board, shatter oars, and compromise buoyancy. Well-placed arrows and ballista fire can also tear through sails. Okay, so there are ballista. Further crippling mobility. Alright, cool. Explore an expanded world. Calradia has been reimagined with a northern region, a settled island, coastal waters, and open seas. The dynamic weather system was also refined to include storms and trade winds. Alright. Ships move faster when riding the gales, but beware, attrition can unravel even the best laid plans. Okay, so there might be attrition damage in the sea. Interesting. The naval systems and Nord faction integrate into Bannerlord's world, reshaping trade, warfare, and diplomacy. Ship production and new trade goods add regional variety. Coastal towns may grow rich from this if they can fend off pirates and naval invasions. Okay, so there will be pirates as well, so essentially sort of like the brigands that you can find on the map. Sieges have also been adapted to naval warfare. Oh, armies will have to bring along a fleet and set up a blockade if they want to stop supplies and reinforcements arriving overseas. I like that a lot. That reminds me a lot of the First and Second and especially Third Crusade. Build your fleet. Players can choose from 18 ship types modeled after historical vessels. Awesome! Each with unique handling, shaped by realistic wind and wave physics. So they're going to have the cog, they might have the Carrack as like the latest they can probably do, although that's far in the future of the migration era, but I mean, hey, they're already doing kind of stuff outside of that now. But yeah, they can be customized with siege engines, cargo holds, sails, rams, and more. I wonder if the Empire is going to have Greek fire, or something along those lines. That would be cool. Shipyards build and stock vessels based on their own towns, culture, and development. Okay. Players can also capture ships and figureheads in battle. Awesome. Okay, I can tell they've done a lot of research and work on this over the last 2 years. Expand your arsenal. The character system has been extended with Nord hairstyles, beards, and tattoos. 3 nautical skills were added that enhance navigation, tactics, and stewardship. There are also many new items including spears, swords, axes, shields, and armor. Okay, so some new stuff. Troop trees now include mariner troops that are more effective at sea. Okay. Players can also recruit new companions with maritime backgrounds. Okay, I like that a lot, like adding an adventurer. Learn the ropes. A new questline introduces players to the seas of Calradia through cinematics, scripted missions, and classic Mount & Blade gameplay. Learn how to command your ship, then take it into battle against a pirate confederacy. Ooh. Lead a growing fleet of newfound allies as you face a range of nautical challenges. Alright, so that all sounds really cool. And I guess a pirate confederacy is either going to be an established enemy, or it's going to be a bunch of brigands coming together on the sea and sort of making their own, like, petty kingdom. Let's see. Enhance your audio, or enhanced audio. The sound of the sea comes to life with new Mediterranean and Nordic-inspired musical tracks. Okay. Experience rich soundscapes with piercing winds, crashing waves, and creaking ships. Feel the heat of battle as steel clashes and sailors cry out. You can also check out the following fact page for more information. Let's do that real quick. Okay, so most of that's already been talked about. Let's see. When will the expansion be released? As we've already said, the 17th of June of this year, 2025. Which platform? Sorry to talk about that. Will there be a collector's edition? We're currently not planning to offer one. Okay, that's good to know. Will there be a pre-order for the expansion? No. Okay. Will there be a discount or bundle if I already own Bannerlord? Exact pricing details will be clarified closer to release. Keep an eye on the official announcements for potential promotions. Okay, so we don't know that yet. Will this expansion be set in a historical context like Mount & Blade Warband Viking Conquest? That is a good question. Viking Conquest was a very popular expansion in 2014. No, while it takes inspiration from seafaring cultures of the North, the expansion remains firmly within the fictional world of Calradia rather than a historical setting. Okay, cool. Will I need the base game Bannerlord to play this expansion? Yes, you must own Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord to access the new expansion, of course. Will my existing Bannerlord save work with the expansion? No, saves will not be compatible between the base game and this expansion. You'll need to start a new game to experience the new content. Okay, so every game you've played before will not be able to be played with this expansion. Keep that in mind. Will there be naval custom battles? No. Okay, so just a hard no for that. Alright. Will this expansion have multiplayer? No, the expansion will be limited to the single player. Okay. Will there be any differences between the PC and console versions? The essential content and features will be the same across platforms, however, battle sizes may vary on consoles. Alright. Will there be expansion-specific achievements? No. Alright, so they won't add new achievements. Will modders be able to create mods for the expansion? Yes, modders will be able to create mods for the expansion on PC. Okay, cool, at least they're allowing mods. We're currently not planning to support console modding, even if we were to explore this in the future. There are requirements that make it quite difficult to achieve the same level of modding support as on the PC version. Okay, so this all sounds really cool. The expansion sounds really cool. I think that they probably worked really hard on it. It sounds like they've looked at a lot of angles. I'm a little disappointed that they will not add some of it to multiplayer, because I feel like they should give more love to the multiplayer. And I also feel like sea battles would be really cool to implement, even though I admit it would also be very hard to implement. And I will say, it's kind of silly to not add achievements to this expansion. You'd think that this would be sort of a cornucopia of achievements to go along with that. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Either way, all of this sounds really cool. I'm glad we can finally use the river systems and the coastal areas for more than just running around it. Yeah, I'm very excited for this expansion. Alright guys, tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great one. See ya.